Do we dare begin to believe?
Stop it. Stop
24 hours in to the Ryder Cup, do we dare begin to think we could get it done? Welcome to the Daily Podcasts. Welcome to Golf is Ruin of My Life. Tom's in a weird hat.
So here's the thing. I've had this Ryder Cup beanie, very much background, if you've been watching us on YouTube, for the last, I would say, my sister-in-law got this for me for Christmas last year. So I've had it all year.
Oh, nice.
And it suddenly occurred to me, this would be a great time to wear it. However, the beanie hat goes over my ears, which means the headphone I've got in, it makes awful noises. So I'm going to take it off now. But I've had it on for a minute, so it's now officially tax deductible.
Yeah, there you go. Stick that on the grill account.
There you go.
Very good. Lovely hat, Tom. A couple of updates before we get going into Ryder Cup business. It's Saturday morning here. I'm ill. I played golf yesterday and got sad, and I'm feeling quite tired.
If you're tuning into this podcast for expert punditry and information, don't worry, Rob from Today's Golfer is along in a second. If you're a regular listener, you'll know that what we tend to do is just moan about our own golf and try and rebuild the castles in the sky that are our golfing lives. And Tom has very much crumbled yesterday after a 77. But Tom, we're not to do that. We are here for Ryder Cup. Excitement.
Yes, but I could tie it into Ryder Cup in a way.
Good luck.
Very interesting. It's very interesting how, and we all know this. This isn't a secret. We all are addicted to this sport, and we all know how important the mental side of this game is, right? So I saw it yesterday in my own game completely. I shot a 4-over on the front nine. It felt really solid. I thought, wow, I'm going to probably shoot another 70s here. This is unbelievable. Something switched. I don't even know what happened. I hit one bad drive.
Tiredness?
Yeah, I actually think it was tiredness. I hadn't eaten anywhere near enough food. Yeah. So I think there was a tiredness factor. Something switched. I hit a bad drive and everything fell apart. I forgot how to be a good golfer, right?
And in many ways, that's a lot like the American team at the Ryder Cup. Is that where we're going with this?
Well, I was actually going to spin it in a more positive way. I was going to say, Tom, that mental game and that sort of fortitude of the head, you can see in some of our golfers, right? And it's when you look at how we played yesterday, Justin Rose is an iceman.
Yeah.
He cannot be phased. That putt on 18.
Oh, my God.
He needed to get it. And he just sunk it. And he didn't even look stressed by it. Like, you could see some of the players, when you know there's a big moment coming, you could see in their eyes that there's a huge pressure on the shoulders.
Yeah.
People like Rosie yesterday, people like Rahm yesterday, people like Rory yesterday.
I mean, there's so much. There's so much to discuss.
They just played in a way there was no fear. It was amazing to watch.
This all comes down to Donald. And it all comes down to the way that he has built the psyche of that team. But look, what we're going to do before we start waffling, why don't we go to our friend Rob Jerram from Today's Golfer, who has sent us a brilliant voice note, and get a quick catch up with him. He has been there all day, and it's this kind of insight which really I think is bringing most of our listeners in now.
Yeah, here's some proper broadcasting.
Hello the Toms, hello from Bethpage, thanks for having me on again. Sorry we couldn't catch up properly, didn't think you'd fancy staying up until this time, but what a day it's been. Ever since the fire alarm woke us at 2:50 a.m. this morning, we've been up and awake and just looking forward to everything, but it has been absolute chaos on and off the course. The visit of Donald Trump caused bedlam, traffic-wise, security-wise, until the moment he arrived and placed himself behind his little Perspex box with the bulletproof glass. Probably not Perspex then, to be fair, but yeah, just bedlam. But there's only one Donald going to bed happy tonight, and that is Luke. The first time Europe have led after the opening day of an away Ryder Cup since 2004. They led by the same score then, went on to win 18.5, 9.5, so let's hope that's an omen. But what a day. I mean, there were questions raised very early on about the fact that USA had decided to go with foursomes. It proved a really bad decision, particularly Morikawa and Harris, who ultimately were listed as the worst pairing he could possibly have chosen by Data Golf. They proved that to be the case. And Europe were just dominant really throughout the day. USA had moments. There was definitely a momentum shift this afternoon, but Europe rode that storm. They did really, really well, barring Ludwig and Rasmus, who were obviously a little bit disappointing, but it's a tricky one, isn't it? You know, you're going to lose matches and you just have to accept that that's the case. I think the fact that we got through the afternoon session with a win as well is just incredible, and Keegan Bradley has definitely got some work to do now. But yeah, it was the visit of Trump. that definitely took the headlines. Chaos everywhere, Secret Service everywhere, guns everywhere, security checks everywhere. Yeah, it was really good that he turned up, and also just a lovely look from him. Really enjoyed his suit with FootJoy Premier golf shoes. I thought that was really nice, just in case he needed to hit a few shots out on the course. Although things did look like they were going that way, that maybe Keegan would have to call on him. So exceptional stuff today from Europe. Saw some great outfits. Saw a lady dressed as the Statue of Liberty, which was particularly good, particularly when she was having to go through security and get checked by the Secret Service. I think that was good. And a surprising amount of European fans. Honestly, the noise from the European fans, particularly this morning. You know, the first tee was disappointing this morning. We expected this absolute bedlam and noise, and to be honest, there was a couple of times up here this morning when they turned the music down and there was nothing, genuinely nothing, and the European fans were out singing the Americans. It was only probably once they got a few $15 Michelobs in them by lunchtime and the Donald turned up that they started to get a bit more rowdy and a bit more excited. But obviously at that stage they were in trouble and the Donald couldn't inspire them. Big stories from the day. Scotty Scheffler, I mean, best player in the world, dominant, just can't do it in the Ryder Cup. And Tiger Woods was the same. Whether this will be a long-term thing for Scotty, who knows, but no points for him, no points for Bryson. They're two big hitters. Bryson back out on the range tonight, grinding, obviously looking for something. And yeah, Europe are just going home super, super happy. Sun shone today, it's due to shine again tomorrow. As I said to you guys yesterday, the course is exceptionally soft. You saw that today with the fact that they were able to clean and place on the fairways. The rough didn't really cause any trouble for anybody. There wasn't any particularly tricky moments out there, so it was a bit of target practice and a bit of a putting competition, and we were oh so close to making it another win for Rory and Shane at the end there as well, and extending that lead even further just behind me here on the 18th. But it's another day tomorrow, and you know, nothing's won yet. As Keegan Bradley has rightly said, we are 28% of the way through the Ryder Cup, so he likes his stats. He obviously just didn't particularly enjoy looking at that Morikawa and Harris one before he picked his pairings. Whether they'll go out again tomorrow, I think that's highly unlikely. We haven't seen the pairings yet for the morning, but they definitely need to make some changes. I wouldn't be surprised to see Europe go exactly the same again after the way they played this morning. So yeah, I mean, everything is now shutting down here at Bethpage for the evening. Before we go again, another 3 a.m. alarm tomorrow. Hopefully plenty more drama, plenty more cries, plenty more screams. And I don't think we're expecting the crowd to be any more up for it tomorrow than they were today, to be honest. There was a few bits of banter this afternoon, I guess, with the players. Rory, as well, as you may have seen, flipped the bird to some crowd members as he came off one of the holes on the back nine. I can't remember which off the top of my head. But yeah, generally the crowd were pretty well behaved. Europe got a lot of cheers. Tommy, Rory got some boos again, pantomime boos. But for the most part, you know, Europe silence the crowd in the best way possible, which is hole putts, win holes, win matches, and just keep that crowd quiet. And if they do that again tomorrow, it's going to be a hell of a slog for the US to have any chance of getting back in this, and we could be looking at a first away win since 2012, which would be nice, wouldn't it? So hopefully we'll catch up tomorrow. Might be another one of these, might send Alex to do it as well, but we need to get back to the media centre. Still got some stuff to write, still waiting for those pairings for tomorrow and to hear from the two captains about today properly. So hope you enjoy watching it tomorrow. Hope it's a bit more relaxed for you guys and you can just sit with a beer. Choose something better than Michelob though, won't you guys? Because ultimately it's water. It's no wonder these guys are not getting up for it when they're drinking 15 bottles of water that cost $15 a go. So we'll speak to you again tomorrow. And come on, Europe.
He's very good, isn't he?
He really does know what he's talking about. He's annoyingly good.
Yeah,
he's annoyingly good.
I hope he doesn't start a podcast or we're in real trouble. Yeah, thank you very much to Rob for that fantastic update. We were talking before about mental fortitude, and I think that's probably a good place to start. When you look at the pomp, the ridiculousness, the OTT-ness, you messaged me as the flyby happened, as this jet went over Bethpage Black, and you messaged me, Tom Green, and said, this is all a bit much, isn't it? And I agree with you.
Even by my standards. And I love a bit of all that. I love it. Oh, give me a show. I'm a kid that grew up going to Disney in Florida. Give me a show, right? I don't mind all that. And I genuinely don't believe you would have got those planes going over the golf course if Donald Trump wasn't a golf fan. So he's had to approve that. And he's gone, yeah, sure, do that, right? So, but it wasn't the jets that really did it for me. It was the it was the constant chanting. It was only really on the first hole. And it was only really on the first game of the first hole.
Dude.
Because the Americans just silenced themselves after about 7 minutes.
Well, I think much like when my child has Haribo, they have a funny 10, 15 minutes, and then they have a sugar crash. And there's probably some actual medical truth in that as well as being a metaphor. Because they just seem to have this big spike of insanity where they were screaming. And can I just say, let's not do this thing where we go, oh, bloody Americans screaming and shouting. We do it as well. When it's on our soil, we do all the European team does all the chanting. Yes, there is the occasional American type of individual heckle, which I think is different to chanting, which I think crosses a line. And I think the European crowds generally tend to do that less. But this idea of, the American crowds are vile. No. That's just, you're being very basic there. The Europeans do that exactly the same way. That is the Ryder Cup for me.
There was just a moment on the first where I can't believe I'm saying this because this is ridiculous. I just thought it was all a little bit much.
But it was absolutely.
It was just screaming at like every practice swing, and like if it wasn't the perfect shot, I was like, oh guys, this. I just thought I can't do this for 3 days. No. Luckily, it turns out neither could they. They couldn't do it for 15 minutes actually, which was really helpful. It's like they listened to the text that I'd sent you, Tom.
So true.
But what a first day for the Ryder Cup, right?
I don't know where to start, Tom. I've got about a billion thoughts in my head. It was incredible. It was one of the best, most agonising days of sport I've watched in years. I was uptight and agitated all day. You should have heard my radio show yesterday. Genuinely, there's a couple of links early on where I really foof it up because I'm just a bit too pumped. I feel like I'm about to go into war because I've watched the bloody Ryder Cup all day. It's not good stuff.
And there's a lot of chat in the Discord channel. If you are looking for your group around the Ryder Cup, if your golf mates aren't giving you what you need, because we're all insane golfers here that listen to the show, you will be the most intense one in your golf group. I know it, right?
Yes.
And your golf mates might not be giving you what you need. Get in the Discord because it's a collection of views. It's 1,000 of views. So there's so much great chat in there. I want to talk about Jon Rahm.
Okay, let's start with Rahm. Where do we start? We start with Rahm. Unbelievable. So him and his live buddy, right at the beginning, I'm like, there's maybe a few cynical messages coming out from me. I'm feeling not good in that first half an hour. And I'm like, Rahm hasn't got it anymore. He's had 2 quiet years. I'm going to take those words. I'm going to put salt and pepper on them. And I'm going to shove them at my bum. Is that the right metaphor? Is that what happens at the end of that
there's something there. Yeah. Spicy bum.
He's incredible and I love Jon Rahm.
Yeah, Jon Rahm, what an unbelievable golfer. It was just so great to see him back to that performance that we saw maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Saving Hatton from the rough. It was Hatton's drive where he pulled it into the rough. And I was like, oh, God. It looked, by the way, way worse from the behind the tee shot than it actually ended up being. I thought he'd essentially duck hooked it, which he hadn't. It still went 300 yards, which is mad. But it was in that horrible, horrible rough. And then Rahm just stands up with his absolutely huge biceps, the lad, and then slams it on the green. Unbelievable.
The ball was tucked under a sort of a fringe of grass. It was tucked under a hump of grass. It wasn't just like in bad stuff. It was under bad stuff. So the strength that it takes to do that was unreal. And that for me, and you start to look at shots and think, are these shots plot points in the story now? Is this where something, things take a dramatic turn? And you look at that shot, that for me was the first moment, certainly for yesterday and hopefully for the whole Ryder Cup, where you go, you can do all the chanting and cheering and you can give it all that, but we're just, certainly from the evidence of yesterday, we're better. We're just better and we're just more in it. I don't know. They're just more determined. Like that whole never give up thing. Anyone else would have gone, well, I'll have a waft at it, but, we've lost this hole. Nope, we're on the green.
But don't you think, I want to talk about being determined, because we're determined, but it doesn't feel, when I'm determined, right, so I'm comparing it to me or the Americans, when I'm determined, I'm erratic. I need it. I want it. And that goes the other way. I then don't perform. The Europeans, they're determined, but they're calm. They're chill.
Because of one word. Belief.
Yeah. Oh, my God. The I believe in you moment.
I'm pointing. I believe in you. I believe in you. Anyone is playing foursomes or any form of match play golf forever now, there will be pointing. You know that pointing is now the thing to do.
I believe in you.
Billy, it's
I
belief.
Believe in you.
Because when you or I had this moment of, come on, I'm going to do this, fundamentally, because we're just amateur golfers, we don't have that belief that we can do this. These guys believe because of their talent, but they believe because of the team. They believe because of the way Donald has built this ethos and this psyche. And we're only a day in. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But yesterday was incredible. Even if we go on to crumble and lose this Ryder Cup, what I saw yesterday was so impressive.
Yeah. And taking it back to our own games and what we could take from this, like yesterday, I, for that first 9, really believed in myself. I thought I could do it. I think, honestly, in the back 9, if I had someone point at me and tap their badge and go, I believe in you, I think it might have worked. Yeah. I think I might have gone, oh, yeah, maybe I can do this. Because it's all, when you get to the level we are on this show, like you all love golf, right? So I can talk collectively about this. It doesn't really matter about your handicap so much. You know, you could all hit the shots that you need to hit. You just stop believing that you can. And that's it. Can belief get the Europeans to do this in the cauldron of New York City? I absolutely love it.
So looking at John Rahm, who was incredible, Tyrrell Hatton played well as well. I think the next person for me, is it Fleetwood, is it Rose? The next person for me who I want to talk about, who again confounded what I was saying before, and I'm so glad he did because I love him and I love his shoes. Fitzpatrick. We need to talk about Fitzpatrick. He has had a crappy season. He was scrabbling. He was flying over to Europe to play on the DP to try and qualify. He was scrabbling to get in this team. He was very touch and go. And he was incredible yesterday.
Yeah, he was really, really good. And it was so nice as well to see. And it wasn't just him that did this, but I spotted him loads because I really like him celebrating. Because I'm like, oh, you really do care. You are a bit laddie. I quite like this, Fitzpatrick. It was really nice to see him and the rest of the team follow the rest of the team round for the afternoon, even if they weren't playing. I just think that's really cool, right? He had a great one. I don't want to look at negatives. Lowry had a struggle, didn't he? He didn't quite get it going.
That'll change. Lowry, I think Lowry struggled to come out in the afternoon. I think if Lowry had been in the mixer right at the beginning, he would have done better. I think so. Here's my take on that. Every team, every Ryder Cup has got players who are struggling. And we just have to make sure that our ones who are struggling aren't struggling as much as theirs. So the first thing I say is, all right, I take your point on Larry 100%, but I think he's class and I think he's played okay this season.
I think he's an unbelievable golfer.
His wedge plays him and Tyrrell Hatton are the best wedge players in the world. So give Larry a beat. Let's look at their worst players. Let's look at their guys who aren't performing. And you go straight to Morikawa.
Oh, Scotty, come on. Oh, God, yeah, of course.
But there you go.
Hold on. Should we talk about, do you know the data golf stat? I know Rob mentioned it briefly in his
worst
BT.
Pairing possible, yeah.
Like, the worst. You couldn't have picked the worst two. So, and I would have thought the Americans, not only the Americans, I thought everyone in this would be so data-driven. Yeah. We live in such a data world now.
Moneyball, baby.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is how this stuff works.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
I thought, maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe there's going to be a bit of secret sauce here. No, they were bad. Data golf was right. They were bad.
They were bad at golf.
Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah, Scotty. I mean, it's a story. It's an old story now with Tiger. He was like it as well. Phil Mickelson to an extent. The best American golfers in recent times, and this isn't true in the past. If you look at the Palmers or the Nicklases, they were great at the Ryder Cup. But he wants to be doing his own thing. I don't think he wants to be there. I don't think he's bonded with these guys. I don't think they bond. Bonding and belief. And I don't think the Americans have got either of those things. Pointing.
I believe in you.
It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, this is such a team game.
Yeah.
This is why I love watching this, is because it's the sport that I love played in a way that we just do not see anywhere near enough of.
Well, exactly.
In the DP World Tour, in the PGA Tour. Like, I was in our Preston Boys WhatsApp group yesterday saying, we are doing foursomes on our next away game.
Brilliant.
Because it is brilliant.
And it's quicker. It's quicker. It's just great. Everything about it is great. And then you get to point at people. But again, someone mentioned this on the Discord. Do hop on our Discord. I'd just like to do it. I know we mentioned it already today. If you're watching this, maybe... Our producers have turned this into a brilliant clip. Hello, TikTok. If you're looking for somewhere to join in and have a conversation, a giant WhatsApp group full of like-minded golf nerds, join our Discord. There's a link below.
Yep.
It is a really good place to hop on and just splurge whatever you're thinking. We'd like some Americans on there as well, please, because at the moment it's very European-centered. And someone on the Discord mentioned it is a disgrace when you watch that day of entertainment yesterday. you look at what the product of golf can be, and we do that for 3 days every other year. Are you mad?
It's hard though, isn't it? Because you then, and we're not going to get into this today because will take way too long. But unfortunately, you do then bump into the problem Liv has, which is when you group golfers together, it's quite hard to find a uniting thing, really, isn't it? It's like the Liv teams thing hasn't really worked. The European thing, it does really work, right?
Yeah, it does.
So maybe do something like that. I know there was the... I don't know much about this, so I'm sort of heading into murky water here. But there was that, like the Boston team that was created on the PGA Tour that Rory's part of, and there's like the LA team and whatever. I don't even really understand what that is because I don't think they've done any golf, but they've attempted to sort of start that thing. Yeah. But I think we can all agree what we watched yesterday, we want to see more of.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun, especially Europeans winning, specifically Europeans winning.
Yes.
I think the course is great. I think the decision to keep the rough light is a brilliant one because it just makes it more entertaining, but it's a risk. Obviously, that's a decision from the Americans. Make the rough gentle so that we can attack and get the crowd on our side is like, that's cool. But the downside of that, guys, is that the Europeans can also do that and silence your crowd. And that, I would say, is a bigger catastrophe than your crowd. Your crowd are going to get behind you anyway. Why make the rough soft so they can get even more behind you at the risk of the European crowd going, it's okay, you're in the rough, Tyrrell Hatton. You can still hit a great wedge in. Like, I think that's a bad decision.
Yeah, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with there's some dialogue around the fact that it plays quite easy and you can literally just drop the ball on the number and that's by the flag. I like that. I think it's amazing watching really good golf.
Yeah.
I don't want to see. I don't know. During the US Open this year, I just thought it was a bit much, really, watching them struggle out there. I quite like the fact that there's 4 golfers. They all need to get it next to the pin, and they all hit unreal approach shots. That's great.
Target golf, darts golf. It's not links golf. This is proper slap it on there. I mean, one of the biggest characters of the day yesterday for me was backspin. Your friend and belief, bonding, and backspin. Whoever can manage those 3 things is going to win the Ryder Cup.
Put that on a cap. Belief, bondage, and backspin.
Not bondage, mate. No, wrong podcast. Wrong podcast.
Sorry.
But seriously though, the backspin that was going on was and because of the time of year and because of the type of course, but it was amazing.
Yeah, the course is great. It feels like it doesn't feel like a big PGA Tour venue. I don't know if you feel this. I had a chat at the golf club about this yesterday. It feels more European. It feels more like the sort of courses we play over here.
Yeah.
Just the look of it.
Greener, softer. Yeah. I know what you mean. It's certainly the case, and Rob mentioned this yesterday, I think, on the pod. You know, the Ryder Cup has been the reason Europe traditionally have started to do better in recent years is because all our players now play on their tour. You know, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, Højgaard is probably one of the only ones who isn't fully on the PGA Tour. So, you know, thanks for letting us all come over there and play on your tour. And now we're going to really give you a game at the Ryder Cup. So, you know, it has been. It's been amazing seeing us hold those putts going in late into Friday night. Rose hold that putt. You know what? And this is really hypercritical, but I have to honestly reflect what I felt, and I think everyone felt this a bit. Rory missing that putt on 18 was a shame. Go 6-2.
Yeah. But there was he missed a few short putts across the day. That wasn't the only one.
He also holds some good ones as well. So it is what it is.
So very quickly, just looking at the Ryder Cup website, so they've got a outcome generator powered by Capgemini, right, which is quite interesting. So looking at what the AI data says about the games that we got today in the morning, at least. Yeah. So Fitzpatrick and Ludwig
against
Europeans, against DeChambeau and Young.
Oh, Cam Young was unbelievable. I wouldn't. Whoa, I'd find that very hard to call, but it'd be very funny if Bryson doesn't win any points. I think Bryson and Cam Young will win that. The
data says we're going to win that.
I disagree with the data. Cam Young,
McIlroy and Fleetwood, Harris English, Colin Morikawa.
So hang on, McIlroy. I just Fleetwood Mac every time. I don't care who they're playing. Fleetwood Mac will win that. Yeah.
The data says 51% chance of us winning compared to 36% chance for them. Rahm, Hatton, Xander, Cantlay.
Patrick Cantlay annoys me so much with his tongue.
Yeah.
Right? His lizard tongue that comes out. When Cantlay shanked on the 18th last night. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh my God.
He was in perfect position.
It was dire. How you missed the green from what? Was it 100 yards?
That was me. I take the credit for that because that is the power of my mind right there. I thought that out and I made it happen through the power of my mind. But Cantlay doing that is interesting because the thing about Cantlay is he's a slow, turgid golfer, but my God, he's good and he's consistent and he's frustrating in match play. But for him to do that was a big, nervy wobble, and I hope and wonder if that will have an effect on his confidence because it was it was a shank. So I would say, however, he might win that match because Cantlay's very good.
Yeah, the data has them winning 50% over our 37%, 12% chance of unknown. And then finally, Bob Mack, Hovland, Henley, Scheffler.
Vic and Bob against Henley and Scheffler. I would say that's Henley and Scheffler all day long, according to the tournament data. But according to the madness of match play, I think Bob McIntyre was really. He looked really. He's an emotional guy. He looked really disappointed to lose that match yesterday. The only loss in the morning. I think Scheffler will win that.
Yeah, the data says it's theirs, but I mean, based on everything you said, based on what we saw yesterday, who knows? So, should we call it a day there as we get ready for? Should we get ready for Saturday at the Ryder Cup? It's very exciting. We will have more from Rob and Alex, actually, I believe, from today's golfer tomorrow. Enjoy the golf today. It is only going to get hotter, and hopefully we can, because we've not had a lead like this, I think, since 2012, I believe.
That's right. 2012. Oh, yeah. Or was it I think away? There's something in 2004. Yeah. But anyway, the last time we had an away lead like this, we went on to win the Ryder Cup. There's not, think about that. Long way to go, But don't forget, all they've got to do is get to 14.5 points, and they've got 5.5. Like, they do. So they do that again today. That means we go into the singles, which is a big ask to do that again 2 days in a row. But to go into the singles only needing 3 points would just be insane.
See you again tomorrow.
Bye.